Hey, everybody. It is A-Train, and you're listening to True Crime Undercover. And there's a dog barking. And I am here with everybody's favorite lovable friends, Super E and D-Mania.
What's up? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yeah.
I can hear you.
Is this mic on?
Well, Super E, do you
Yes.
have a tale to tell us?
All right, what I'm going to talk about happened way back in 1985. Things were different back then. But as a young uniform officer who looked very much like Chips. Anyways, I had got a PD accident about 2 a.m. and it was on West Bertzel Parkway.
Okay.
Hey, Train, did you ever go around Bertzel Parkway?
Yeah.
It basically, it was like the street was extra wide. It looked like a racetrack,
Yes.
and people would always speed around it. And then the park that was along that area, they protected the patrons from the reckless drivers, but they put these like giant tree stumps down, cut them up and lined the park with it as barriers.
Mm-hmm.
I get to the scene thinking, what kind of PD accident we got? When I come to the scene, I see nothing but smoke in the area. And I look out about 30 yards into the park after looking at some of them thick tree stumps bent over like they've been hit at a high rate of speed.
Okay.
And acted as a ramp. And 30 yards in, I see a 1978 Olds Cutlass laying on its top.
Okay.
With the wheels still spinning and the Krager mags just rolling around. And it had, now A-Train will be very familiar with what I'm talking about. It had the hijacker shocks on it. It was jacked up way in the back.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, this is out of place. And then I saw the bumper sticker said, "You'll have to pry my cold dead fingers for my gun." And I said, we have something that doesn't belong here. It's a 78 old Cutlass with Kragers and giant tires on the back, jacked way up.
Yeah. With
the bumper sticker. And I noticed a whole lot of Pabst Blue Ribbon beer cans strewn all about it.
Okay.
So we don't have a 9.8 or a deuce and a quarter or a Broham. We got some strangers in here, but I couldn't find any bodies around.
Okay.
And so I can't find any bodies, but we're thinking, I think we got some hillbillies running amok from this scene. And so we're like, yep, I think we got him. And right as I said that, the dispatch comes out, George 82, check on a large disturbance. 2600 Harding was like about 4 blocks west of us. Witnesses say there's a fight between 2 white males and 30 black dudes. And I was like, yep, we're right. Okay. There's some hillbillies running about. And I wanted to confirm that we were right, that they were hillbillies. So I said, George 82 Control, just to confirm, possible 2 white males are wearing cheap truck stop baseball hats that say gone fishing or she looks way better after a bottle of Jack. And they said, 10-4, Georgia. Confirmation.
We've got confirmed hillbillies.
We got confirmed Southside BG hillbillies. And so me and the guys, we zip over there. There was a crowd of, like I said, of about 30 pissed off black guys. And right in the middle of them are 2 white guys. They are dirty, filthy, scratched up, beat up with bumps all over their head. And I know exactly what happened to them. And when we got up, they were swinging at anything because, they were fighting 30 dudes. And there was one guy, his name was Tony. He saw me and he goes, "Gonzalez, you wouldn't believe what happened. These 2 fucking white dudes staggered up to everybody on the street, started talking shit to them, asking for a phone." And then I said, then what happened? Well, of course, they jumped him. But I tried to jump in and help him. And that's when the white dude goes, that's right, officer. We were just minding our own business, walk along. And all these, and he was getting ready to say it. I could see it coming out of his mouth.
Oh, God.
I could see the N-bomb was getting ready to flow out of his mouth. And sure enough, and he says, these 30, and he said the N-word as easy as Leonard and Skinner was coming out of his mouth. And I was like, oh, fucking shit. Here we go. But none of the dudes, none of them really got mad. They just kind of laughed and said, oh, shit, he's doing it again. He's talking shit again. And they started laughing. They go, Gonzalez, can you believe these motherfuckers? And then one guy goes, yeah, Gonzalez, can you tell Bo and Luke Duke Peckerwood to shut up? The one white dude, he goes, hey, officer, can you tell Eddie Murphy back there that his activator's a little dry? And they're like, oh, snap! Oh, and I was like, now this is turning into doing the dozens. And so I'm looking at these guys, and I know they're the ones that are driving that 78 Oldsmobile. I say, hey, fellas, what you doing up here? And they said, well, we're from Hazard, Kentucky.
Of course they are.
And we come up to visit our family in Mars Hill. And we went out to get some beer. And when we got the beer, we drank it. And next thing you know, we don't know where the fuck we're at. And we're just driving around. And I said, I got a question for you. Was you driving a car and happened to be driving it real fast and flip it? And he's like, oh, no. We just parked our car and started walking. We just wanted to see the area. I said, really? And then the other one says, yeah, we don't know nothing about that blue 78 Oldsmobile that's flipped on its top. I said, who said anything about that? And then the other one looked at him and said, Dwayne, shut the fuck up. I said, okay, what are your guys' names? The one guy goes, my name is Dale Dwayne Coltrane. And I said, okay, well, who's this guy? He goes, it's my cousin. What's his name? His name is Dale Dwayne Coltrane. I said, so you got the same name? He goes, no. Mine's Dale Dwayne. He's Dale Dwayne. I call him Dwayne, just so we don't get confused. I said, I'm already confused. And so I go, okay, Dale Dwayne and Dale Dwayne, were you guys driving the car that was flipped over? He goes, no, I do not own a 78 Oldsmobile, and I was not driving that vehicle. We were driving another one. It's a long way away, and we just decided to walk around here to see the folks up here. The ones that beat the shit out of you and put all the lumps on your head. Well, yeah, it turned kind of ugly. And then I go, you don't own a 70 Oldsmobile, but you're wearing a novelty T-shirt that says, make mine a 78 Oldsmobile, and it's doing a wheelie bar stance with a bunch of... And he looked down and goes, that is a coincidence, isn't it? I go, well, it's a coincidence. He goes, that too. I said, come on, guys. And then I get on the radio because one of the officers was back there. I go, still looking at the car. I said, are you guys from Hazard, Kentucky? Yes. I said, what's the plate on the back of that Oldsmobile flipped over? And the other officer told me, Kentucky plate. What's the 28 on that? Comes back to Dale T. Wayne Coltrane. And then the cousin goes, I told you, Dale, we wouldn't get away with it. They would fucking know it's us. I don't know how they did. I said, well, could it be the PBR cans all around the place, the jacked up Oldsmobile, and you guys are drunk as fuck starting a fight with 30 dudes in the street? And he goes, well, that would lead you to believe that. I said, would you like to take a test for drunk driving? Would you blow into this PBT? He goes, we don't need to do that. We are already fucking drunk. we drank a whole case. And so back then you got we had a DWI cars. Were they back then when you had them, A-Train? Did you have them back in the day?
Yes.
With you?
Yes.
A DWI car was right around the corner. I called him up and I said, can you take these two motherfuckers out of here? And he was like, sure. And they're like, okay, we ready to go. And they turned around and said, see you guys later. We're going. And and everybody on the street was like, okay. They were like, take care. Nice meeting you. And that was the end of that. It wasn't like today where everybody was like, oh, I'm triggered.
Right.
They were just like, shit goes down and then the shit's over with.
Okay. Those hillbillies, first of all, extremely stupid, obviously, and racist.
Yes.
They are lucky to be alive. I mean, I think that crowd showed a lot of restraint just thumping them, because 26 and Harding, yeah, there's been people that have gone missing up there. So,
yeah. And these were folks from the neighborhood that have went missing.
Yeah,
now,
right.
You put in the mix a couple of good old boys,
Yeah,
who don't have a filter on what they're saying. And it could have got really bad. And then you, of course, add the gallon of Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Yes.
Things went to shit.
I don't know about you guys, but well, first of all, we're not stupid racists. But if I'm in a foreign place or a place that I'm not used to, I'm usually pretty nice. I usually don't pick fights with everybody, but that's just me.
Or you just try to be as unobtrusive as possible.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, well, once again, Cypri, I think you saved a couple lives. I don't know that they deserve to be saved, but you saved them.
Exactly. It's like they come barging onto the street going, is this the Cosby Show? And so everything went south from there.
Oh, my God. D-Manny, what do you make of this story?
It's very preposterous.
It is.
Now, I know that this story is true because Super E told it to me a couple years ago as I was leaving a doctor's appointment from the VA up in that certain area.
Yeah.
But I have a hard time believing they're obviously there, but this city has these sort of hillbilly folks living in it. I just find that interesting.
Well, D-Mania, certain parts of the city have different people.
Demographics.
Yes, these guys were visiting people in Mars Hill, which was the polar, which is a good word for it, polar opposite.
Of hillbilly.
Yeah, most of the people in Mars Hill probably are their people are originally from Hazard, Kentucky. Yes, and not in a bad way, but that's that demographic.
And there's nothing wrong with that, right, A-Train?
No, my family's from Kentucky, so there you go.
I can tell. So is my family.
Yeah,
they came up through West Virginia, down to Kentucky, right through the jail, right into Indiana.
Exactly. Your family tree probably looks a lot like mine. Just go straight up. There's no branches whatsoever. No
branches.
My grandfather was a moonshiner in Kentucky and a ridge runner, and he was moonshining up. He would go to Indiana to Chicago, and he was taking moonshine up, and a big black limousine type of car, this is like the 20s, pulled up next to him, and everybody displayed their Tommy guns out the window and then pointed it at him. They sent him a message because he made a U-turn and took his haul straight back to Kentucky, and then he had to leave Kentucky because all the women were coming up pregnant, and there was one suspect that everybody's pointing their finger at. So he vamoosed to the Indiana border and came up to Indianapolis.
So this is your grandfather?
Yes.
So he was a rascal.
He was, as my aunt called him, he was a ridge runner.
Okay. All right.
And then there was talks of him being a loan shark at the rubber company he worked at, but I think that is inflated.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
D-Mania, what do you think of that?
Yes. I think I've heard that story before, and I believe that the person's name was John Dillinger.
That's what it was. Grandpa Dillinger.
Little
I called him
embellishment.
Papaw.
Yes.
Here, on a side note, talking about gangsters like that, my uncle, my dad's brother, owned a restaurant on the Illinois River, tucked away, very nice place called the Hideaway. And it was previously owned in that era by Al Capone. And it had all kinds of secret doors and like escape hatches and things like that. It was really neat.
Cool.
This was in Terre Haute, correct?
This was in Illinois.
Oh, in Illinois. But wasn't Terre Haute also a mob?
Yes.
Kind of.
There's a lot of gambling. However, Al Capone, the rumor is he said that he would never rob a bank in Terre Haute because of all the railroad tracks, which is true. You get railroaded everywhere in this city. It's terrible.
You get railroaded by the cops? Or
No,
I'm
no.
just kidding.
I have been, yeah, we could talk about that. I have been railroaded on running hot, to calls and stuff. And like you would get boxed in, there's nowhere to go. It's terrible.
That's true. Remember A-Train when we were doing the private investigative stuff down there in Terre Haute? And you couldn't go anywhere without a fucking train coming from out of nowhere.
Well, we're in the crossroads of the United States, guys.
That's true.
Lots of trains. Okay, well, this was a interesting story. I really don't know what to say about it, Super E.
Okay. It was this shit that happened.
Yes.
Yeehaw.
Yeah, that's it.
D-Mania, you got any closing words of wisdom?
Be kind to one another when you're rolling and strolling on those highways and byways.
That is fantastic advice. You're right.
And what about the splatter box?
Yes. Don't talk on splatter boxes or be a window licker.
There we go.
Whatever the hell that means.
Remember to be professional or you'll get the boot.
Okay, and on that, we are out. See you guys. Bye.
See ya.